What's going on, public members? Mike McFarland back in the studio, January 12th, 30th. It's Thursday, January 12th, 2023. We last talked, I was on a lake. I was on a special lake with a special friend, one of my best friends, Gosh Lady Brooke. I hope you guys watched that. She's actually in studio today doing the camera work behind, and this most definitely will probably be the last time for quite a while. She starts school next Tuesday, and she's going to be buried. She's going to be watching Facebook. She's going to be watching us catch fish while she's reading books and studying to become a nurse. But yeah, anyways, I didn't come on here to tell you about that. I actually came on here to tell you a little bit about Lake Fork. Lake Fork fishing report, and I'm going to share with you guys not the location, not the how-to, but a way that you can go catch some fish around the area if you're really dying to catch some fish and you don't want to grind on Fork, because Fork is a freaking grind. Between low lake conditions, no grass, winter time, cold water, it's just not hearing a lot about Fork, and I haven't really, to be honest with you, been working it. There's too much fun, good stuff to go to within a 60-mile radius here. There's so many lakes that have so much bass in them, and big bass as well. So, for example, the place that we were just at, I'm gonna actually give you guys some good information. I'm gonna tell you the baits that we were using, and at least one of the baits. Brooke had a fish that was pushing 8 pounds. I had a couple that in the 4-pound range, but we had a day where we caught 40 plus fish in the boat, and probably missed and lost another 20. This week was really good fishing. But it just wasn't on Fork. I even hear the crappie fishermen are struggling just a little bit. So, telling you about Fork, first things, as always, water temperatures. This is what it's all about. We had dropped down to 47, 49. This last little warm trend that we had the last 5-6 days has kind of brought temperatures back up. We're at 50, 52, 48, 52 range. Depends on where you are on the lake. 0 to 1 foot clarity. And 39784. We're going to talk about this temperature stuff and the effects in just a second, but something's intriguing me here, and I'm not sure what's happening. This is right off the United States government websites combined with Sabine River Authority websites. I may want to make a phone call to them because I do have a number that I can make a phone call with. But it's weird that, Monday we were 39781 dropping, 39779, and then all of a sudden we're reversed. The last 2 days it's come back up. And this is literally probably close to an inch of increase, half an inch increase anyways. Remember, this is to the hundredths here. So for every 0.25 is 3 inches. I'm sorry, for every 0.25 is 3 inches. So where this water's coming from is what I'm intrigued about. I don't know. I'm assuming maybe they've stopped the rate of flow pipe. There's always creeks and drains flowing into Lake Fork, especially in the main creeks, and there's always a pipe that rolls down below the dam to let that rate of flow water go. But why we kind of have this little trickle effect, I don't know. It seems strange if it, in fact, is 100% is correct. And again, those websites are very strong. They're very dependable. I believe that it is. So, in lieu of water temperatures, what I'm waiting for, and it'll really trigger me to go back to Lake Fork, is there's 2 things that happen coming out of the winter solstice. Number one, the winter solstice is usually about December 19th to the 20th, somewhere in there. And that's the shortest day of the year. From that day on, the days grow. They get longer and longer and longer. So right now we're growing. If you notice that the daylight is happening earlier each day by 1 minute or so, and it's also sun setting a little bit later. So we're growing the days. The angle of the sun is also beginning to change. Within this, we generally can warm trend. We're still in winter, so we can warm trend, cool trend, warm trend, cool trend. And that's the toughest thing to understand about fishing a lake like Lake Fork, or really any of these lakes around here, is that I call it the Texas two-step. We go up 2, down 2, up 2, down 2, or up 5, down 2, and what I mean is temperatures. I said last week we were 47 to 49 degrees. Now we've come up. And then this cold front today, a new northwest wind's blowing. It's chilly outside. We have highs of 55 degrees instead of 70s and 80s, and we're cool trending. The lake that I just caught all these fish on, literally when Brooke and I first showed up on Monday, the water temperatures were about 54. By the end of the week, we had 57, or at least by yesterday afternoon, we had some 58, and I even saw 60-degree water. Now remember, that's just the surface, but it warm trended. And so the key, what I'm trying to teach you guys publicly here, the public channel, is, it's still hunting season things. I know a lot of you like to hunt. One of the most effective ways you can really have a good outdoor season, let's call it, hunt and fish combination, is to hunt when it's cold and down and fish when it warm trends. The Texas two-step. You can have 2-3 days of warm trend, day or two of cold. And just mainly, though, mentally watching water temperatures. When those water temperatures get above 54 degrees, and they stay above 54 degrees, Lake Fork's on. It usually doesn't start till about March. We're going to Texas two-step the next 6 weeks. We literally will. And I've seen it rise 7, 8, 9 degrees in a 3 or 4 or 5 day period, and then in 24 hours, it's gone. It's right back. I have seen Lake Fork be 48 degrees, 49 degrees, and a 5-day warm trend with rain comes out of the south, say a tropical type week. And I have literally watched Little Caney Creek go all the way up to 70 degrees, 68, 70 degrees. We're looking at a 20-degree increase. Now that's just the surface temperature in just the shallow backwaters. Okay, but if I remember right, about 3 years back, we literally had, I think, 7, 8, 9 days in a row where, man, it was not winter-like. And it was in January, February transition. And those fish, all species of fish, crappie, bowfin, catfish, carp, all the bait, everything piled up in the back of Little Caney Creek because of that 71-degree water. It kept getting warmer and warmer and warmer and warmer and warmer. And then, bam, we got hammered with a cold front ice, and just like that, it was gone. But I really truly remember we were back to Long Branch, Little Caney, any of the back pockets that are sheltered from that north stuff that get the majority of that southern exposed sunlight. They really had warm trending. If that's happening, you want to be fishing. That's it. That's all there is to it. That's what happened this last week. We had all that cold about 3 weeks ago. Mother Nature tried to kill us, freezing us to death here. Again, not to be redundant, but Brooke came around this week and we wanted to do some fishing before she started school. And we chose to fish some of the lakes in the area that have grass. And I guarantee you that last week the lake we were fishing, or go 2 weeks back, was cold. In fact, I know it. I have a buddy of mine that's been fishing it. He's catching some fish, but not like we did. We just hammered it. It literally, Brooke, did it not feel like we were in spring?
It really did.
It was literally, there was a point where I made that comment. I said, this is not like January fishing at all. This is water temperatures, the way we're catching them, the amount of bites, the aggressive, the fight, the fish were strong, they were jumping. This just isn't winter fishing.
Strong is an understatement.
Yeah, many times Brooke and I would set the hook and need the net. I'm not sure, man, it feels good. It feels really good. And then jump. Oh, never mind. It's just strong, healthy fish.
Or you're sitting there and they just bite and almost take the rod out of your hand.
Yeah. There was one point I actually set my rod down for just a quick second. I don't remember what to do, help do something. And if I hadn't, something just told me, go ahead and pick that rod back up. And right as I went to pick it up, before I got to it, it jumped about a foot on the deck. And I got to grab it. If I hadn't been there, it had jumped over the side of the boat. And here, I want to give you guys something publicly. I'm not going to tell you the lake that I was at. That's for members only. I'm not going to tell you the strategy that I have. That's for members only. But I do want you guys to know that I love you. I appreciate your public subscription. I want you to come over to the members only channel. I ran into a guy at the dock, at the launch ramp, that came up and thanked me for all I do in the report. And I said, are you a member? He said, no, I'm not. I'm too cheap for that. And I'm not knocking him. But I made a comment. I said, too cheap for that. It's $4.99 a month. A month. You lose a crankbait at the lake. Do you lose a jig? How many worms in Texas rigs do you break off to the wood? How much fuel do you burn? If you want a better report, if you want the real juice, $4.99. I ain't asking much. But I do want you guys to know publicly that I appreciate this subscription with all my heart. I am grateful for you being here. I'm really grateful for you watching. And I want to give you something. Okay? This will probably work at any one of the lakes in the area, especially the lakes that have grass. But again, I'm going to tell you what the bait is that I'm catching all these fish on. One of the baits. I got 4 rods right here. I don't know if you can see them. I'm going to give you one of them. So at least you guys can't say that I didn't give you some juice. All right? But it's a little, I talk about a chicken rig a lot. I talk about a full Carolina rig a lot. I talk about even a little mini Carolina rig quite often. So the difference is a full Carolina rig is going to be heavy line, 1 ounce weight, 4 to 5 foot leader, 20-pound line to 20-pound leader. You know, maybe even heavier, maybe 25-pound line to 20-pound leader. Big worms, brush hogs, creature baits, stuff like that. Big magnum flukes, big impact shads. When I go to a light, I call it a finesse Carolina rig, I'm going to put 15-pound main line. I'm going to have a shorter leader. Usually it's about 2 feet. And I go 12 pounds. So I've got 15-pound to 12-pound. I absolutely, have, instead of an egg weight, I go to a little bullet weight. This is a 1/4 ounce bullet weight. I do have my bobber stopper first so that I can peg that weight to the swivel. But I have a swivel, 2 feet at 12 pound. And in this case, this little tiny bait right here, which is a Zoom double ringer. A Zoom double ringer. You need to use an EWG hook with the Zoom double ringer because for some reason it balls up a lot. And if you don't have that EWG hook, it's a 1-on EWG hook, you'll miss a lot of fish. So a lot of times I like to offset straight shank hook. For most of my flukes and things like that, I go to EWG when I've got a bigger body and it balls up. I gotta have that extra wide gap. That's what EWG means, extra wide gap, to be able to get good hook sets. If you're in wood, if you're in heavy cover, it's hard, then you need to bury the hook. If you're around grass, light cover, you can text pose. Text pose means pushing the hook all the way through the worm and then back into the worm just a little bit so that it's easy hook sets. All right, but that's the rig, and I'm gonna show you the bag here in just a second. That's the rig that we put 40 fish in the boat with. And here's the Zoom double ringer. Okay, I will also give you the colors. Watermelon candy, dip the tail just the tiniest bit, about 1/8 of an inch with chartreuse pin or dip. Watermelon red, when the sun is shining, that's the key. What I want you to do, guys, I want you to recognize something. The next time you're on the water, I want you to take a watermelon red worm, fluke, creature bait, whatever. A watermelon red plastics. I want you to hold it up on the hook in the air and take an assessment of how much red do you see in that bait. Now remember, on a clear, sunny day, do this. On a clear, sunny day, put you a watermelon red bait on. Hang it up and look in the air. Ask yourself, how much red do I see? Then drop it in the water and ask yourself, how much red do I see? It will blow your mind. So when the sun is shining, watermelon red is the #1 best color, especially this time of year. December, January, February, there's something about orange and red. We know this, Sam Rayburn red with rattle traps. And that a lot because crawfish are black, they're black and red. I think a lot of the colder water makes fins on fish, especially brim, red. I've been in places where I've got a hold of brim in the wintertime and the body's white, but the fins are red. Red, 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 it's blood. So I don't know, but I do know that history shows red in the wintertime. Just facts, that's the facts. Clear water, watermelon red, okay? Again, I'm not gonna tell you how to fish that bait because there is some techniques on how to fish it. You should be smart enough to realize that I just told you the rod was sitting down and almost got stolen from us, so that means we're not doing a lot with it. I'll leave you that. Use your own mind and realize slow is slow. But any one of the lakes in the area, any one of the lakes that has grass. Grass grows bass, okay? I also want to give you a few more little tips before I close you out. Remember, if you're bringing back grass, you ain't catching bass. So if your rig is catching and pulling balls of grass, you're either fishing too heavy in it, your bait's too heavy, the weight's too heavy, something's wrong. If you can't snap the bait out of the grass and have it clean, you're not going to catch fish. If you're bringing home grass, you ain't catching bass. Okay, remember that. So there, giving you a few cool public tips help you out a lot. I will tell you that there's quite a few other ways to catch fish in the area. There's 3 other baits that on the right days, certain wind days, things like that, are very, very, very effective right now as well. But you got to be a member to get that information. That's all there is to it. How do you become a member? You wonder how do you become a member? Just look in the description below. Go to the members page, join. Hit the join. It's easiest to do from a desktop or a laptop. For some reason, it doesn't seem to work so well with an iPhone. But go to join. There's 2 memberships that you can have. The basic membership is $4.99 a month. And I give an additional, I give 8 reports for the month. Tuesdays and Thursdays, I film a report. They're usually up by Wednesdays and Fridays. I film a much more detailed report than you get here publicly. I give the goods. I spill my guts. I tell you the truth, and I give you exactly what Mike McFarland, the Lake Fork Guide Business Service, is doing. I literally expect this year that I will see some of you on the water the next day or 2 or 3 that I'm fishing. And I'm not going to be upset. I'm not going to be like, dang it, man, they got to the spot before I did. I'm giving the goods up, okay? I will be telling you here in March, April, May, June, July, the best fishing scenario, the how-to, including locations on Lake Fork, okay? For the glide bait bite, for the swim bait bite, for the top water bite, for the bite when we're catching the giant fish, and we catch the giant fish, okay? I will be spilling my guts. All I'm asking you to do is go over and subscribe. The first channel is the members only channel, $4.99. If you want even more than that, then there's another channel called Let's Talk Fishing. Hit the Let's Talk Fishing subscription. It's $9.99 a month. What do you get for that? Well, you get the 8 members only videos, access to the members channel, but you get 1 lesson a week. That every Sunday I film. I film an in-depth lesson. Some of those lessons are going to be chosen or requested by the Let's Talk Fishing members. For example, I had our member request Let's Talk Jigs. So 2 Sundays ago, I did 51 minutes of Let's Talk Jigs. 51 minutes of Let's Talk Jigs. That night when I finished laying in bed in the day, I hit me that I had left a few things out. And I wanted to give them more. So the following Sunday, I did Let's Talk Jigs Part 2. And guess what? It was 40 more minutes. 40 more minutes. That's 91 minutes about jig fishing. I covered everything from rods, line, all the types of jigs pretty much that you really need to know about. How to use them, trailers, colors. I mean, let's put it this way. I put it out there and said, anybody have any question about jigs? Put it in the comments below. Not one question. Just thank yous. Oh my gosh, wow, I learned so much about jigs. Those were the kind of comments I got. So the upgraded channel, Let's Talk Fishing, is $9.99 a month. You get the lesson every week. So now you're going to get 8 upgraded fishing reports. You're going to get 4 lessons for the month. That's 12 videos to watch. And once a month, I pick a random lucky member who receives a free gift care package. That care package includes baits from my sponsorships and pro staff positions. The last care package had over $100 retail value. We had baits from Tightlines UV, Impact Shad, Go Fish Lures, Lake Fork Tackle Lures, Rod Socks. I plan on talking to my Chevy dealer and getting some free oil change things. I plan on talking to Lake Fork Marina and getting some discounts, 10% discount on a motel room. Kitty cats. Anyways, that's what that Let's Talk Fishing channel is about. again, I'm inviting you, please come on over. You spend so much more money on other things. I know I spend more than that on junk. I still fall victim in marinas and stores and buy things I don't need. And I promise you that two things. Number one, those 8 reports that you'll get from me are so valuable and they're so detailed. And the Let's Talk Fishing lessons, I think personally, I don't know anybody out there. I don't see any information out there happening where a seasoned veteran professional fisherman, professional guide, however you want to call me, a lifetime's worth of knowledge, not a weekend fisherman, full time. In fact, in 2010, I spent 314 days on the water, and the hookup outfitters that I worked for, the outfit that I worked for, logged our times, and I had 2,864 hours floating in a boat. That was striper fishing, bass fishing, trout fishing in the mountains with fly rods. It's just an array of information right here in this guy, and I share it with you on my members' channels only. So, thank you guys so much. Hit the like button if you found this good. Comment below if you have any questions. Go fish in some of the surrounding lakes here. Catch a bunch of fish, and I wish you all the best year ahead and great fishing.